Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Midwest Motorsports GT4 Series. Qualifying has already passed at the wonderful circuit Gilles Villeneuve and Montreal, man-made island built for, it's built for I just went blank. Forgive me. The World Expo in 1967, right on the St. Lawrence River. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is 13 corners, 2.5 miles, just over 2.5 miles. And the GT4 cars have already qualified. Congrats to Chase Fincher qualifying in the wet. Michael Odell going to share the front row. Brian Cox and Walker McNulty, row 2. Jason Wahlberg, John Daniels, row 3. Jesse Coffey, Jason Phillips, row 4. Justin Thaler qualified 9th with Ian Bacaitis, rounding out the top 10 and the top AM driver. Travis Rowe qualified 11th, Justin Glickner 12th. David Stark, Ronald Kabiltis, row 7. CJ Barzak, Adrian Fedorowski, row 8. Steve Hansel, Kevin Bridges, row 9. Robert Snar, Aaron Mitchell, row 10. Nick Calguru, Brian Sarton, and Christopher Hopper. He brought too much sexy to the broadcast last week, so kicked him out of the booth for tonight, and he's going to come racing with you guys. He did have a manufacturer change, so he's starting from the pit lane, did not get a chance to qualify. Might not be a bad thing considering how much moisture there is on the track. This is going to be an amazing race. Strategy will play a factor. Who can keep their car on the black stuff? The asphalt, as you can see the spray kicking up from behind the cars already as they go down the long casino straight before the final chicane. Chase Fincher in the McLaren on the front row. Michael Odell in the BMW, blue and yellow. Glad Brian Coxon decided to make it tonight. Leading the points, Michael Odell qualified second. Brian Coxon second in points. As they're coming through the final chicane, we're going to go green for 60 minutes. The race starts now. Chase Fincher gets a jump. Track surface is soaking wet. After about row 2 or 3, only going to see a wall of spray. Hopefully they can make it through in one piece. Looks like we lost Brian Cox in there. Who else is gone? Brian Coxon survived, lost quite a few places. As they go through the winding tunnel, guardrail and walls on either side of them. Chase Fincher out to an early lead. And we're riding with Michael Odell now. Looking back, Walker McNulty and Jason Wahlberg. Congrats to Walker McNulty for a great qualifying spot. Qualified 4th, currently 4th. They go under the bridge. Look at the great lead Chase Fincher has already. They come through turns 8 and 9. Side by side back there. Walker McNulty makes it up to 3rd. Side by side is Jason Wahlberg and John Daniels. Jason Wahlberg on the outside. John Daniels, big tank slapper on the exit, trying to put down the power. The rear tire's just not hooking up as he's in the puddles now. Everybody looking for a dry line to put the power down as they go down the long back straightaway, casino straight. Jesse Coffey and Jason Phillips, it looks like we're side by side there. Good move for John Daniels. Up ahead, Brian Coxon Michael Odell side by side. Walker McNulty's gone by Michael Odell, so Michael Odell made a mistake. Sorry we missed that. And then John Daniels and Jason Wahlberg again. Here's a replay. Oh no. Not sure he was super slow. This is Walker McNulty's already by. Michael Odell on the exit. Wall of Champions, the first victim is Michael Odell. He makes it through the grass, but loses the spot. Does keep it pointed in the right direction, though. Congrats to Michael Odell for at least keeping her pointed in the right direction. 60 minutes to make it up. That's a whole lot of action just in this first lap. We got 60 more minutes, 56 minutes to go. Look at the awesome cameras down there giving us a great angle of the second chicane. Brian Coxon right on the heel of John Daniels into the hairpin. Michael Odell still headed the wrong way. CJ Barzak here we go. Michael Odell loses more spots. The BMW just not cooperating. Not on the same page. Great for one lap in qualifying. Not sure if the track has changed. It looks like the rain continuing to come down. No dry line yet. Hopefully we'll see one. It wouldn't surprise me if it stays wet the whole time. Almost guaranteed that this track has some wet running on every race weekend. It's Brian Coxon's inside John Daniels. Leaves plenty of room to go around turn 2. John Daniels with the inside line and the inside line on the next chicane. Jason Phillips right behind him in the blue statement. Here we are. John Daniels on the inside. If Brian Coxon can go on the first one, the outside, then he has the line. What a move. 2 wide through turns 3 and 4. Unbelievable. Brian Coxon and John Daniels. It takes 2 to make it through there. John Daniels outbreaks himself and goes in the runoff. Not difficult to do with this wet surface. Travis Rowe and David Stark making it through. Move Travis Rowe up a spot at 81 of Travis Rowe. And Chase Fincher has figured out the McLaren, especially in the wet. He and Michael Odell had some incredible races, especially last week. There was some great racing at Barber. Chase Fincher knows his way around this McLaren, and he's showing he knows the way around the track. Here we are on the Wall of Champions. Chase Fincher turns right, turns left, right by us in the Wall of Champions without touching it. And look at the gray sky up ahead with Chase Fincher. Gonna be a wet one, guys. Let's get ready. In 7 seconds, he has stretched out the lead. Now that we've calmed down a little bit, I think maybe Adam Sondag can take his hand off the cameras for a second and come join me in the booth. Hey, Adam, it's James. You got me?
Hey, James. How we doing today?
Oh, man, much better now that we got you. Thanks for joining me. You had your hands full there on those opening laps. The rain at Montreal is coming down.
Yeah, and we've got even more action here to show you. Looks like John Daniels got caught out by the rain here. Oh, just lost the rear end.
Oh, Jesse Coffey, innocent bystander. That's coming into the hairpin.
Wow. Yeah, maybe a little off camber there. Unloaded the rear. Not much grip there when it's wet. It looks like something happened with our friend and admin Steve Hansel. So let's see what he got up to here.
The Milwaukee Aston Martin. This would be coming into turn 6 and 7 to go under the bridge. 8 and 9.
Oh,
change directions, and the rear just keeps going, trying to carry a little too much speed.
yeah, right into the
Back
pit, it
in,
looks like.
back in, trying to outbrake the front end. So easy to do. Adam, you're the iRacing expert between the two of us. So, what have you had much running in the rain? What are these guys experiencing now as far as braking zones, etc.?
Yeah, I think in this track, it's very easy to get over ambitious about trying to brake late, and also get on the power early, especially as we see John Daniels coming in here. Those curbs are not going to be your friend. You're not going to be braking or on power on those when it's wet. Um, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, as these puddles continue to change. They don't show up as well on our broadcast, but there are puddles out there. Those are right here on the inside of the curb here. There's big puddles. So that's going to be a challenge for everybody. So I think that really, I mean, in a car with downforce, this track is just a great time. And on these, I think people are going to be really struggling to get mechanical grip.
Under acceleration and under braking. As we've seen John Daniels.
It sounds like we had an incident here at the hairpin.
Devin Bridges in the 47 McLaren. Oh, we got one,
Oh,
too. Ian Bacchitis into Michael Odell, and Ian Bacchitis on his lid.
oh
Oh,
no.
that's not good. And Michael Odell goes right in front of Kevin Bridges, I believe. Here we go again. We backed it up a little bit. We got Michael Odell in the blue BMW that we're riding with. And where's Ian get involved?
At this point, he's
Here he
behind.
comes. Oh, is that
Well, looks
right
like
in
Odell
front?
loses it.
CJ Barzak. Now Odell. Oh, Ian's already lost it
Oh,
too.
Ian reacted to Michael Odell locking up and just hit it in the perfect spot.
Oh my
No,
goodness. Turtle
no,
time.
no double shark fins on the AMG. NASCAR hasn't solved this one.
No, man.
Wow. Michael
All
Odell looks like
Ian.
he's lucky to get away from that okay. Let's see if he's still running okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ian Bacchitis. When you're on your roof, that's going to be a tow.
Yeah, and he came in door door first on Michael Odell's nose, and it just pivoted right on Ian Bacchitis' door and upside down, flipped
Quite a
over.
quite a lot of the BMWs here in Chicago, your M2s that you see guys with that are backfiring all the time, they look much like Michael Odell's car because they're hitting things in the alley and denting the side of their doors. So not unfamiliar for me to see a BMW looking like this, but definitely some damage for Michael Odell. But it appears that he's not hindered at all in driving the car. His wheel's still straight.
You can
So
see
lucky
as he
for
goes through
him.
the water puddles. Yeah. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
Oh no, looks like some damage on the Gleckner car as well on the front bumper. So a lot of adventures today.
It
I
looks like
don't.
on this side of the track, the sun seems to be peeking through the clouds, but as they go through the front stretch on the start finish stretch, gray skies.
Yeah, I don't believe we'll see any more rain through the course of this race.
Okay. Michael Odell side by side with Justin Thaler into the final chicane.
Whew, that's a lot of curb.
He has not slowed them down at all.
Yeah, that BMW appears to be able to take quite a beating. So Michael Odell's thankful to the iRacing devs that in their damage model updates they haven't made
Yeah.
this thing a glass cannon. Looks like
CJ Barzak.
CJ went a little wide there. Not much, just.
Yep. And that was the second half of that turn. Turn 1 is a hard left, and turn 2 is a 180 right. So it's easy to carry too much speed into turn 1, make the turn, try to throws your apex off. Turn 2, it's hard to get your wheel turned all the way that far and maintain traction at the same time. So opened the door, Michael Odell went right through it. Your leader now 13 seconds, putting on a clinic out here, Chase Fincher.
His fastest lap is a clean second faster than anyone else. A 153.12. The next best that I can see appears to be Jason Wahlberg, 154.17.
53.9 for Brian Coxon in
Oh, there we
fourth.
go.
But still, you're right, over 3/4 of a second slower. Also in the McLaren. So the pit window will open about 40 minutes to go and then close at about 20 minutes. I've not seen much guys go much farther than 40 minutes on a tank. So let's see. Glickner and Thaler now, battle of the Porsches.
Yeah, you'd think in the wet, being a little more conservative on the throttle, these guys would be saving a little bit of fuel. So we'll see if anybody wants to go a little longer than normal. I almost doubt if it stays mostly wet on the surface, people will need to change their tires, but we'll see.
We will see if the John Daniels looks inside Jesse Coffey. Now outside of Jesse Coffey, but he will have the inside line.
Oh yeah, look at
This
the
is
puddles
turn
there.
67. You can see it's still very wet, but easy, especially offline. Michael Odell finding a dry-ish line, maybe. He definitely seemed to have the acceleration over Jesse Coffey. Move Michael Odell up a spot. If he can keep it out of the grass to keep the spot, sure he would like that. Looks like parts of the track is starting to dry already, or is that just my eyes?
They're still throwing up some spray here. It's a little hard to tell. There's still a lot of puddles on the curbs, but getting a little loose there from John Daniels. I imagine some of the straights might start drying up a little more, and then maybe it might be worth hunting for some moisture to keep those tires happy.
Michael Odell with a great move in the hairpin on the exit. See if he can keep it without running into the wall of champions. He does. Nice job.
Yeah, tough to avoid it's easy to get an off track at that spot. It's easy to over challenge the curbs there. I know a lot of people have had a great lap nullified by doing that. So it's tough there. Those add up pretty quickly. I know Michael Odell's probably at a point where any off track he sees is going to be concerning to him because he's had those, but he's also probably had some 4Xs there from contact. So drive-throughs are in play.
Side
Here's
by
our buddy
side.
Chris Hopper.
Christopher Hopper, Nicholas Calguru. Christopher Hopper with a pit lane start, remember, up to 15th. P15 from P24 at one point.
Yeah,
Like
he
three
mentioned
guys have dropped out
he'd been
already.
getting some coaching.
Okay.
And been running some sessions with some of the other members of the league. So
it has paid off, and also maybe a comfortable pair of shoes in the Porsche, which is a manufacturer's change for him. So Porsche versus BMW, Christopher Hopper versus Nicholas Calguru, side by side down the road towards turn 8, under the bridge. Christopher Hopper has the inside line at the first one, leaves space for Nick Calguru. On the exit, let's see what happens. Now Christopher Hopper is going to have the inside line of the hairpin, but he doesn't need it. Calguru has given up the spot. Move Christopher Hopper up. He goes into the hairpin in front of Nicholas Calguru. Great pass by Christopher Hopper. Set that up 3 corners ago.
Yeah, that's a really generous driving there. True gentleman driving. Giving each other enough room to do what they need to do and not end the race here prematurely 45 minutes too soon.
That's right. Thanks, Nicholas. We all appreciate you, especially Christopher, not taking each other out. So nice work, Travis Rowe, battling with David Stark. David Stark in the black and German colored BMW. Go ahead.
Any good sports car driver knows that the time to wreck somebody is within 10 minutes. Gotta save it. Gotta save it.
That's right. So this is bragging rights at the workplace. Justin Thaler in front of Justin Glickner. But David Stark definitely looking racy. Gonna have to go offline to pass him. So he's in the puddles, holding on. The battle of grip is on, and Glickner lets him through. Now he's got Travis Rowe behind him. Move David Stark up a spot. Nice work, David. Jason Phillips, Michael Odell, right behind Brian Coxon. Down the casino straight. Jason Phillips is going to keep Michael honest on entry. Looks like, is that Brian Coxon that came into pit? It is. Wow. Brian Coxon in pit lane.
Wow.
Early for him. Seems early to me.
Yeah. Might be able to stretch from here, but I doubt he takes tires. Oh, maybe he does. Interesting. Okay.
Is he going to be the first to try slicks? Keeps dropping down. Michael Odell is caught up all the way to 3rd place.
Yeah, Michael Odell's already swapped.
He's on dries. Did he start the race on dry, and that's how he lost it? Got quite a few guys on dry weather tires. Brian Coxon goes to dry.
Yeah,
David Stark on dries. Yeah.
Michael Odell now is in the low 147s, so about a 147.2. So the speed on the dries over the wet is significant at this point. So I'm not sure if Chase Fincher is seeing these times come through, but I would assume that gap's going to start coming down if the people behind him are charging about 2 seconds a lap or more faster.
Right. Almost 3 seconds a lap faster. Chase Fincher stays out.
Yeah, minimal spray here coming up. It's looking like this area, this section of the track's drying out a little more. Race director Josh Watts says we're somewhere below 75% wet as far as the track surface. So definitely in range to take some risks. See some people going for pits now. Looks like Walker.
And Jason Wahlberg.
Walker realized he was getting caught pretty quick and went past his stall.
He missed his pits. He'll pay for that.
Well, hopefully he can afford it. Thaler and Gleckner coming as well as CJ Barsak. Ian Bakaitis still working on his repairs. So that's a bummer. That's unfortunate for him. Hopefully he'll get back running.
Aaron Mitchell with Adrian Fedorowski right behind him. Aaron Mitchell doing a great job in the BMW on dry tires, I might add. Fedorowski not on wet. Thanks, Adam, for throwing the graphic up on the tires. You can see on the far right, just to the right of the gap. Blue obviously is the wet tire. Solid black for dries.
Yeah, you'd have to think after this, Chase has to be thinking to come in.
You
Or is
can
he
make your
staying out?
stop. He stayed out.
Wow.
Maybe he knows something we don't know. I'm pretty sure he knows a lot that we don't know about it. I mean, maybe
But
he thinks that
his
we're
gaps
good.
come down by about 6 seconds. The times that are getting put down here are significantly faster. So we'll see. He did get below 150 on the wet tires.
So we missed it, but Michael Odell we completely missed it. I completely missed it. Michael Odell started on the dry weather tires, and for good reason. As you can see, the dry line now forming on the track. Michael Odell starting to turn purple laps. Fastest lap of the race, 145.2. The leader, Chase Fincher, at a 149.7. Chase should be able to make it to the end from here if he stops and fills up. So every lap that he chooses to stay on the track is another 2 or 3 seconds he's going to have to miss and make up after the stop. Unless he's going
Yeah,
60 minutes without stopping.
he's lost about 10 seconds of lead here, which I think would have been really helpful for his pit stop. So who knows? He may have waited a little too long unless he thinks that fuel won't get him to the end. But we're within the window.
Oh, Justin Taylor facing the wrong direction. Wonder if he got into the wall of champions. Here we go. Late on the brakes. Was he going into pit? Hope he's turning into the chicane. Great camera. Oh, a lot of curving.
Got some Air Canada.
And the back end is swapping around. He missed the wall. So that's good. A half spin. Watch out, Nick. Watch out, Nick. Cal Guru comes. Trying to figure out if he's going left or right. And then there's your leader, Chase Fincher, and the blue McLaren also coming through.
Nice, easy little pull off there.
Nap it around, Justin. There you go. Back to the leader, Chase Fincher. But not for long. Michael Odell on dry tires. Now, what are the possibilities of more rain coming?
Well, let's see. Race director Josh Watt says, "Oh, and that does look like there are some clouds on the horizon.
Cloudy,
I'm not
overcast.
I'm not sure if they'll get here or not, though." It's about 30
Yeah.
minutes to go. It's supposed to rain at 4 p.m. server time, which will be
New
about
leader.
30 minutes from now. So we might see a little bit of rain before the last lap.
We are going to see a new leader this lap. Michael Odell has made those slick tires work. And Chase Fincher is a whole pit stop behind. Now Michael Odell's got the bit between his teeth, trying to move up, make up for lost time. Made a couple of mistakes earlier, but starting on dries, racing to the front.
Yeah, great gamble that's paying off. It took the risk, really almost caught him out there. He had a couple incidents that may have ended up with some repair time, but was lucky to take that hit from Ian Bakaitis right in the door, away from the controls. So the car is in good shape, relatively.
Yeah, a little cosmetic damage maybe, but maybe some timed repairs. But whether Michael chooses to take them or not, gonna have a huge lead. But he is gonna have to stop for fuel at the very least. So it's not over yet. Chase Fincher is losing time now, 5.5 seconds back.
David Stark now pits. Oh, no, maybe that was wrong.
They start working on Jason Phillips. Go ahead.
The top 6 cars have not pitted yet.
Right. Down to Jesse Coffey. Okay. Don't go anywhere. How's this going to play out as the Midwest Motorsports GT4 Series continues on from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal? You got it, Adam? Christopher Hopper.
Christopher Hopper is a member of Midwest Motorsports, legendary author and friend. If you want to hang out with people like Christopher Hopper and you want to race with people like Michael Liddell and Chase Fincher, Jason Phillips, Brian Coxon, guys who are running fast, go to that link down there, midwest-motorsports.com. Sign up today. Join the Discord. Great place to talk with other people about racing. There are practice sessions every week. We run every Tuesday night here in this league. There's also a Friday night Trucks League for ovals and also a Sunday night Cup Cars, Next Gen Cup Cars League. So if any of that interests you, great league, great place to run with people who you can trust, people who respect you and want to respect their time. This is a 1 hour race, but we also have some longer races here as well. So check out the league, read up the rules, jump in the Discord server, and we'll see you there. Travis Rowe working on Aaron Mitchell here. Travis did pit for dry tires. Little bump there, but he continues along. That'll be okay. Got a lot more BMWs here in the league than we used to. A lot of people didn't think that was going to be a quick car here in GT4. A lot of people don't like the way they feel it handles, but we're seeing it perform pretty well today. And that's ahead of the new BMW GT4 coming. So we'll have to see if anybody wants to opt for that. I'm not sure how that'll play out. Michael Liddell has checked out here. He was about 16 seconds down on Chase Fincher, and now he's about 15 seconds up. So this is really quite a play here we've seen from Michael Liddell starting on the dry tires. Had some troubles, had a couple off tracks, had a big incident in the hairpin where he took Ian Bakaitis into his door, and Ian Bakaitis ended up on his hood. Unfortunate for Ian. But this gamble has paid off as Michael Liddell has been cooking. Chase Fincher is still on his wet tires. It looks like Jason Phillips finally got off of his. Or no, he didn't. Sorry, sometimes our data jumps around. But Jason Phillips, Jesse Coffey, and Chase Fincher are still on the wets, so I'm kind of curious. I'd be interested to know what Chase Fincher saw here that made him want to keep staying on the wets even as his lead had flipped completely. So he's now got under fire from John Daniels. So once again, the top 6 have still not taken their pit cycle. So clearly they think that staying out's going to work. Brian Coxon has pitted. And even after a spin here a couple times to go through, Justin Thaler has found his friend Justin Gleckner. These two are inseparable. No matter what happens, they will continue to race right next to each other. So I think that's beautiful. Find a friend who finds you on track. Wonderful. Let's see. Did anybody take this pit? Aaron Mitchell's taking the pit. A lot of people continue to stay out. This is the closest battle on track we have. Chase Fincher does finally pit. So I think we'll definitely see him take the dry tire here. Still some puddles here on pit lane. Looks like Nick Calguru is taking tires. Jason Phillips coming in as well. Chase Fincher's car is not up. Brian Coxon's cruising past these guys now. So we'll see. Nope, still not on the out. Jason Phillips taking tires there. I did not see Chase Fincher take tires, so he is still on the wet. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Everyone around him but Jesse Coffey has switched to the dries. This is a new strategy this year for people with the rain update, that tire is a factor.
Thanks for filling in, Adam, covering for me while I was out.
Oh, you got
What
it.
did I miss? Looks like I missed
We did.
a round of pit stops, and some guys are still on wets.
Chase Fincher did not switch off of the wets, but he did pit. We do have Jason Phillips has pit as well, and now John Daniels is coming. So we still have yet to see David Stark and Michael Odell pit, but I would expect to see Jason Phillips picking up some pace here, as he's now on the. Is John Daniels? No, he's not taking tires. So this could be a saving here for the people that ate the difficulty early on the wets. Now they don't have to pit long enough to take tires. So they're going to save some time there on pit lane. Not sure how that washes out given the time that they spent sliding around.
Taking tires, maybe 15 additional seconds from what I can see, 37 to 23.
Yeah, it's a significant add and addition in time. A lot of people, especially Jason Phillips. Jason Phillips really is the mad scientist when it comes to testing out pit strategies and how long it takes to do work. A lot of times it just doesn't seem that it's worth it unless you're really going to pick up some pace there. So a lot of people don't want to take them just because it adds more time than it takes for the fuel to get to the end of the race. So
Yep. So I think 40 minutes is as long as we've seen anybody run, and maybe they're hoping or wishing or praying for more rain before the race is over. got side-by-side action coming into the hairpin. Walker McNulty and Jesse Coffey, the battle for 5th and 6th. Walker McNulty has it.
I just think the
Jesse
tire
Coffey and wet.
advantage.
Yeah.
You can see there that the last lap Walker was 5 seconds faster than Jesse Coffey. So
3 laps at 5 seconds a lap is the difference in tire.
it's very significant. Oh, Michael Odell has just taken his pit, and now he's on wets.
Comes out on wets. Does he know something we don't know?
The rain is inching closer, but I don't know if it'll make it or not. It's hard to say here as we are about 15 minutes away from rain. So we'll have to see. This is a very intriguing weather race here.
So Michael Odell being a teller of the future. When I ask Michael Odell what the lottery numbers are.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what David Stark does. He's the last person yet to pit.
And he's started on dries and stays on dries. So good job for David Stark. I like this strategy here. Go as deep as you can until Jim tells you can't go any further.
Yeah, I don't really think we have an overcut king yet in the GT4 series. This might be David Stark's play to be the overcut master, much the way that Dustin Reinsteitel is the undercut champion of the Oval Series.
Wow. Well, at 1 minute 43 with 20 a lap with 20 minutes to go, 21 minutes to go, we should get about 10 more laps.
And he is up for tires, and it looks like he's switched to wet. A lot of people, if you have Race Lab or some other overlay system in your iRacing, you can see what tire compounds other people are on. So it makes it nice that if you're lazy and you don't do your homework like Jason Phillips, you can see what everybody else did, who you believe is smarter than you, and say, you know what, I trust this guy. So if you think Michael Odell knows the move, you might just follow him.
Pied Piper. We're watching a great battle there with Jason Wahlberg and John Daniels. But Brian Coxon, this is for the lead of the race. Brian Coxon on the outside on dry tires. Michael Odell in the BMW on wet tires. You can see the clouds on the other side of the road, St. Lawrence River. You got to run, Brian. If you're going to go now. And hopefully you can build up a big enough lead by the time the weather comes.
Yeah, the question is how much that potential weather will impact, or if it will even come down at all. I do believe, based on the information, it says 4 p.m. race time, we will 100% have precipitation. That is 13 minutes from now and should be a couple laps remaining. So we might see a couple laps of rain. So this might really get dicey here for the people on dries, and it could be very interesting to see how that plays out for the people who did switch back to wets, because they're going to be losing time. About 5 seconds slower there for Michael Odell compared to Brian Coxon. So that's significant now, but if Brian Coxon has an off, that could be different. So it's really interesting. We saw Michael Odell lead with a very risky strategy, and now he's playing a conservative one. So,
and this might be one of those things where the organizers decided a few races throughout the season would be guaranteed rain, 100% chance of rain. So my guess is that maybe the beginning of the race and qualifying were iRacing's system, and then the last part of this race might be that 100%. So it might go from 0 rain to 100% monsoon, which means that the slick tires, anybody on dry weather tires, is going to be finished. DJ Barzak comes in for a
Takes
second
wets.
time.
He swapped to the wets, so his team is looking at their weather app and they think that it's going to go wet.
Right.
The radar is inching closer and closer.
Again, Justin Taylor leading Justin Glickner. This is outside the top 10, 12th and 13th. Coming
Am I
up on
wrong?
Jesse Coffey.
Am I wrong, or is Glickner missing a rear wing?
Glickner is missing a rear wing.
Wow.
It's not just you. So he's had a run in with the wall.
Yeah, curious how that's impacting his handling here. That might get a little dicey once the water starts to be combating that loss of aero, whatever amount it adds.
Right. And you definitely need all the downforce you can get here at this track.
Something must have happened to Travis Rowe here. He got passed. Shows that he got passed twice. Doesn't look like it though. Just more ghost data here. Yeah, it sure does.
Glickner, he's still without a wing. Side by side.
Sure doesn't seem to be impacting him.
Especially down the straight. It's the ultimate DRS. Disappearing ring reduction system. Adrian Fedorowski wants a piece of Justin Taylor. Justin Taylor in the white Porsche with the yellow wheels. Around the long turn 2.
Looks like he just wanted it bad enough that he took a compromise line there.
Brian Coxon, only 2 seconds so far. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
Black flag for the 51, so looks like that was the incident limit here for Calguru. Oh, just dipped a tire into the grass there.
Justin Taylor coming up on Jesse Coffey.
Yeah, and these are the battles we're seeing here in the middle of the field. So, this is really, I think, great for the league that, even if you are not running the top pace here, there are people for you to race with and have good battles with and be respected in those battles. People are leaving each other room here. There's people to get after. And I think that, a lot of times you see, the two Justins almost never separate.
Right.
Justin Taylor spun and he still ended up back with Justin Glickner. So it's great, I think, to have that ability to do that. Sometimes in a public lobby, you might end up in a race where you end up running by yourself for 20 minutes or so, and that's not really a great time. You could do that on your own time. And I think this is what you're looking for, to be able to race wheel to wheel with people. John Daniels is going back in.
Currently on dries. Travis Rowe, Michael Odell. This is for position. Move Travis Rowe up to P4.
And here comes the rain.
It's raining.
So your top 4 drivers are still on dry tires. They're making good time right now, but Michael Odell's Nostradamus call is correct.
Nostradamus. Let's see.
John Daniels
All
gets on wets right in time.
Tempest system showing its fangs as we have 12 minutes to go, 6 or so laps.
Kevin Bridges taking some tires. Good idea. So this will get interesting here.
They're going to pit. Or are they going to come out? You got to pit. There's no way I would want to stay out right now.
You'd think you would. Let's see here.
Brian's coming in. Brian Coxon agrees with me.
Yeah, smart move there.
Wahlberg also.
You got to say it's smart to run the dry tires. The time difference was significant for as long as you can take it, but it's difficult to say whether or not that bared out against the time it's going to take tires here. Travis Rowe in as well. Walker continues on dry tires. Travis Rowe comes into pit. Steve Hansel, another driver here on dry tires, so he might come in. Walker's really going to have to start backing up his braking here and being gentle on the throttle. Looks like the rear end's getting a little loose there on him. We're not yet into the heaviest rain. Walker's going to keep going.
Headed back to the hairpin now. We'll see at the end of this straightaway if he decides to pit or not.
Oh no, he loses it.
And he's around. He swapped ends, under braking, just nowhere for the rubber to get any slow down. You can see the wheels spin. Can he keep it going in the right direction?
Yeah, I think he'll drive right onto pit lane. Yeah, you definitely understand the play he's going for there, trying to see how long he can stretch it because the time was good. But it's just too much here. Yeah, you see him there, and
Under braking,
it's
swaps
gone.
ends.
Yeah. Oh, he continues. Michael Odell's now 4 seconds, less than 4 seconds behind him. Walker's going to die on his dry hill.
Currently, Brian Coxon in third. Sorry, Adam.
Currently, 2 of our top 10 are on dry tires still.
Not anymore. Steve Hansel comes in. Oh, he was in ninth. Sorry about that. Justin Whitner's in.
Had a few more casualties here, it looks like.
There's no dry tire that's going to work right now.
No,
on wets, you're hating it.
It's a little hard to tell, but the hairpin does have a little bit of camber to it. So you're really asking a lot here as the weight of the car is shifting and you're unloading the rear tires. And yeah, same right here.
Whoop.
Might have gotten a little little tap there through no fault.
Yeah, just hard racing. Can you tell?
Yeah, you're not ready for the car in front of you to turn around and look you in the eyes. Is that an Invader Zim helmet? Oh, he might have missed him. Nice
I
driving
don't
there
know.
from Ronald.
One guy that's not had any problems, Brian Coxon, currently third. And your leader, Michael O'Dell, the BMW coming up to put Glickner a lap down.
Walker McNulty coming to take his medicine.
Yes.
Michael O'Dell really has made two bold plays here on his tire strategy,
Yes, he has.
and they both appeared to work out.
Great driving, Aaron Mitchell. Crossed up, got out of the way just in time for the leaders. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Everybody careful to stay off of the red and white painted curbing, especially in the wet.
Yeah, it's getting a little sketchy here. It's pretty heavy. Yeah, Aaron Mitchell, unfortunately, is going to have to pit for repairs, it looks like. Wow.
Chase
Looks
Fincher
like
still third,
looks like
staying on wets the whole time.
Justin Thaler looks like he just went straight through that chicane
Final
here.
chicane.
Watched, and he must have enjoyed watching Monza this weekend. Classic Monza move.
Yep.
No need to wreck. Plenty of concrete there to go through.
You get a slow down at least, maybe.
Yeah, probably not too bad. Better than wrecking.
Yes.
Chase Fincher, after going about as long as he could on the dries, is now. Oh, Brian Coxon holds it. Oh, he almost
Oh,
lost it there.
what a save.
Looks like Chase Fincher kissed the wall as well. Wow. There's still about 23 seconds down the road from Michael O'Dell.
Steve getting out of the way for Brian and Chase. This battle for second is heating up with 4 minutes to go. "23 seconds up the road is Michael O'Dell from these two. We have a great battle for second right now. Can Brian Coxon hold off Chase Fincher? I got to put my money on Chase. No disrespect, but based on what I've seen today, he's not going to risk it though. He'll only
Yeah,
make the moves there.
we're really starting to see here the puddles picking up offline. Brian trying to get out of that spray there so he can see. Brian is the first car that's pitted twice. Chase stayed out very long on his original set of wet tires. almost everyone else in the top 10 has pitted twice, except for David Stark, Jason Phillips, Chase Fincher, and Michael Odell. So typically do not see two stops here unless something goes wrong.
You can see what Chase sees, which is next to nothing, especially when he's close to a car in front. This happens to be Brian Coxon. Battle for second.
It's all gray and puddles from here on out. See the lot of standing water here on the hairpin. Oh,
Great save there by Chase, trying to put the power down.
yeah, it's hard to be patient when you're chasing somebody else down. It looks like Brian's car is rotating pretty hard there as well, but just a little too much. Great save, though. Wow.
Stepping on the loud pedal that you wanted, the traction
Yeah,
just
you can
wasn't there to give it to him.
just look at the puddles here. Yeah, we weren't sure if the rain was going to hit before the race ended, and it definitely has hit. We've had a few drive-throughs here for incident points. Looks like Adrian Fedorowski and Justin Gleckner both had drive-throughs, so they were both running pretty consistent races here, and it's hard to stay inside the lines when the lines are this wet.
Is this the last lap? 30 seconds to go. Oh, Ryan Kabiltis comes through the grass. But your leader, Michael Odell, this is the battle for second. Through the chicane.
It's hard to chase
Everybody,
Brian Coxon down.
man, he does not make many mistakes. He stays cool and calm behind the, well, Michael Odell, is he coming across? Coming to the checkered flag. There's Michael Odell.
What a race, what a strategy.
Figured it out. Unbelievable. One stop, the right stop, started on dries, went through the grass, went completely through the dry phase, came into pit, the dry track on wets, finishes off Brian Coxon and Chase Fincher here going for the second and third step on the podium. Got one more chicane and the hairpin. Two chicanes to go. John Daniels is going to bring it home in fourth. Travis Rowe fifth. Like Brian Coxon was able to hold off second. Jason Wahlberg, he's sixth. Chris Hopper wins the AM division. We do get sexy in the broadcast booth after all.
Solid day for David Stark there.
For sure. What a great run. David Stark at P7. He's going to be happy with that.
Walker will be asking what could have been, but a top
Stayed out
10
one lap
still.
too long.
Yeah.
Just stayed out one lap too long, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's sort of how he wants to run this. Is he, I think he likes being a little aggressive. trying to push that, and got him this time. Maybe next time. What a race. We saw a lot of stuff. Usually strategy doesn't come into play as much as it has today. The weather really brought us the heat.
Totally unpredictable tonight. The racing scenario with the Tempest system, absolutely incredible.
Here are your results for tonight's race. Now we're in full downpour here as the fans head for the podium. Michael Odell, first place, started on dries, had a couple of excursions there on the dries early on in the wet, switched to the wets before anybody else, and ended up making the right call there. Strong run from him. Great play. Brian Coxon holding off for second. Chase Fincher stayed on wets while everyone else was making hay on the dries, and then still ended up holding down third. Be curious to see if he wanted to get to the dries now in 2020 hindsight, if he would have taken the dry tires there to make some time. But that one stop may have saved him a significant amount of time as well. So that might have washed out. John Daniels fourth, Travis Rowe fifth, Jason Wahlberg sixth, David Stark seventh, Jason Phillips eighth, Jesse Coffey ninth, and Walker McNulty rounds out your top 10. CJ Barzak 11, Justin Thaler 12th, Adrian Fedorowski 13th, Justin Gleckner 14th, Steve Hansel 15th, Christopher Hopper, our buddy who joined the broadcast booth last week, taking his AM win. I believe is his first AM win, so we'll have him joining us here shortly. Brian Sarton 17th, second in the AM division. Kevin Bridges 18th, third in the AM division. Aaron Mitchell 19, Ronald Kabiltes 20th, Nicholas Kaguru 21st, Robert Snar 22nd. Ian Bakaitis unfortunately had that incident in the hairpin where he ended up upside down on his roof, so that ended his day. And the safety car did not come out, surprisingly. So we've stayed clean
What a
here.
race.
And man,
Absolutely incredible.
I would have been curious to see if our safety car could have stayed on the track in the wet.
It might not have. But I tell you what an incredible race. We saw all different kinds of weather tonight. We saw incredible racing on the street circuit, man-made circuit by the St. Lawrence River in Montreal, Quebec. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve brought us great racing action. After joining me in the booth last week, Christopher Hopper at Barber tonight gets behind the wheel. And so we thought we were not going to have any sexy in the broadcast booth. Tonight, we actually do have sexy back in the broadcast booth. Chris Hopper, you did it, man. Congrats on a great win.
Thank you guys so much. I'm honestly kind of freaking out right now. I did not think I was going to be in this conversation on this end of the mic tonight.
Well, you had 3 pit stops. Did you just play it by ear, or did you start the race on the wets? We kind of missed where your strategy played out in the win. How did you do it other than excellent driving?
Well, thanks. I didn't qualify tonight. I took the penalty for changing manufacturers. So I actually had this distinct advantage to watch the clouds, the weather, and I'd done a lot of practice in the rain this week leading up for this. And shout out to Justin Taylor for encouraging me to switch back to the Porsche, which I've spent the most time in the GT4s. And so yeah, went out on wets, ran the middle on dries, and then kind of I was listening to you guys live, which helped. Thank you for the tip. You're like my pit crew. And watching the other drivers come in and kind of gauging, and I came in for wets just as it rained. And maybe because I live on the St. Lawrence River, there's an advantage that I have to watch the sky, and maybe that's my little silver bullet here. I don't know, but this is really fun.
Well, we did see a lot of side-by-side racing action as well. So how difficult was it in those mixed conditions where maybe it wasn't exactly sure where the dry line was to cool your tires, to stay on the dry line, stay on the wet? You say you've done a lot of practice here. Did you do the practice in those mixed conditions?
Yeah, I tried to purposely make this track as wet as I could, which it's painfully slow. You're like, what is wrong with me? Yet everybody is encountering those same conditions too. So it's just remarkable though, like some of the side by sides and how everybody's super cautious with each other, competitive, pushing each other, but also like not going to throw the race away. At least from where I was in the back of the bus. So. Shout out to all the drivers tonight, just racing really clean and courteously from my perspective.
It was pretty incredible. Adam, what you got for Christopher?
No, great run. Great to see you back in the Porsche. I think that the ability to change manufacturers is really sexy, but what you know seems to be comfortable. Did you feel comfortable getting back into the Porsche, especially with the rain thrown in?
I did actually, surprisingly so. And I'm just gonna say, like, I have not loved the GT4s. And I was struggling. I went with the Aston for a while. I was with the AMG, the McLaren, and then I was gonna go back to the AMG because I've been doing a lot of LMP2 racing, and I like the front engine, how it kind of makes it more pointy. And Justin was like, dude, unsolicited advice. I'm like, of course. He said, go back to the Porsche. You spent so much time with it, and it was the best you were doing. And so, just to be honest, guys, I was doing like a one a 152 in the McLaren, a 147 in the AMG, and then I got in the Porsche, and I did 145 and then a 144. That's the fastest I've ever. That's the closest to the top I've ever been. I'll just say. So feels good tonight. Feels first AM win. I don't know. This is virtual hugs, guys. Thank you.
You did it, man. Congratulations. Sometimes that comfortable pair of boxers, man, you could always count on it and depend
You
on them
know
to
it.
be that comfort zone that you needed.
Yep.
And
And
you earned it, man.
thank you. And shout out to Michael Odell. What a guy. I'm so glad he took first tonight, and love that guy. So thanks, guys.
He was all over the place. We're going to talk to him next. Congrats on a great win, Christopher.
Thank you.
All right. That's Hopper. He did it, man. Got his first win in the M Series. And Michael Odell, how about it? Michael, it's James and Adam in the booth. You got us?
Hello? Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, yeah. What a crazy, adventurous race. First of all, I want to know what are the lottery numbers going to be for tomorrow because I'm going to go buy a ticket. You seem to know the future before it even comes.
Yeah, that was a very big prediction game. I'm really glad that it came back in favor. That the start, as you guys saw, was very rough, very very easy to just make a slight mistake, and then it puts you down 5 spots, and then you're trying to find your footing as another 3 get you.
Yeah, and you made it back. And then you went super long and came in. The track was perfectly dry. Not a cloud in the sky that we could see from the broadcast booth. And we see the logo go from dry to wet. And me and Adam were scratching our head in here. But you knew what was coming. You just had to weather the storm, literally and figuratively. And here comes the rain. Everybody's spinning off. Michael Odell's headed to the front.
Yeah, it was a lot of banking on that because especially with the fuel strategy, I was like, if I go long with the dry, because with the wet weather, it's sliding more, you're not going to consume the fuel, but if I can go long on that strategy, there's a chance I could one stopper it because initially a lot of the guys were talking about it's going to be a 2, it's going to be a 3 because of changing every single time. And it was like with the gap I pulled on the slicks when I held out and then pulling into the pits as the car turned off as I went into the box to get more fuel. I'm like, okay, I'll take wets. And then by the time I come back out, just do my best to be nice to the tires because I know a lot of guys being caught off by that dry patch throughout the race switched back to slicks. So I knew that what I would lose in overall speed, I would gain back in pit time as long as I kept them within that 50-second mark, which was about the time I estimated between from pulling into pits to pulling back out between me and Brian initially because I used him as a bench because he went to dries first. He was one of the first guys on wets
Yep.
to benchmark and using that time, okay, I just need 50 seconds within that range. And then, as you guys saw, I was able to keep it to about 25 and came out ahead.
Absolutely amazing. So we did hear that you learned a lesson, and maybe it may have paid off tonight at Grattan Raceway. Am I saying that right?
Correct, it's Grattan Raceway.
Grattan Raceway. Tell us about the lesson you learned there and how did it pay off tonight?
So, first race Saturday or Sunday morning, actually, because it moved due to thunderstorms. That race was everyone starts on slicks. It was a dry track to start, and I watched the flagman instead of the guy to my right. They pulled way ahead, but as it started to sprinkle like we were seeing at the start of the race here, it was a little bit heavier in this. But with the damp weather, I'm not a stranger to dealing with slicks in that weather, even though I got caught off at the start there and I may have took Ian's car and did a absolute flip with it, like
Yes,
a
you did.
skateboard.
Yeah.
Aside from that part, it was just a matter of managing the mixed weather because I knew that once that started to transition back, I could hold out long enough to really make something work. And then the Sunday late race, it was raining like it was at the start of the race today, and I started on wets. A lot of the grid started on dries, and by the time that the race started, it went from 3 laps of the wet tire being the preferred to fourth lap in, the dry tire was 5 seconds up on the wet, and there was just nothing you could do. So I was like, okay, with knowing that and learning that from Grattan, and then seeing that the conditions today were a really long, like Navarra was just soaked. There was no chance for the dry to come back with this. I had a really strong gut feeling of the dry's gonna come back, just hold on and not fall for the same thing I did at Grattan. So I'm glad that I learned from that and applied it here tonight to make that strategy work.
Those bad beats never leave you, and you remember them, and it paid off. Well, congrats on a great race, man. Like I say, like I said with Christopher, there were a lot of great racing, hard racing, but also very fair and clean. Looks like you backed it into the airplane, and then Ian Bacchus was already backwards coming into you too. You could just sit there and watch. I'm sure you saw
Yeah.
that coming before it happened.
Oh yeah, I saw him. It was interesting because I didn't expect his car to just like pretend it was a piece of toast on a pan that you just flip, and then first I'm not sure the game was gonna like just send him off into oblivion if like the physics broke at first. And I was like, I felt really really bad initially, and I'm like, wait, I can't really do anything about that because that's just the game wigging out pretty much.
Yeah, well, you can buy him a beer the next time y'all meet up. I'm sure he would appreciate it, but it's part of racing, out of your control. What was in your control was bringing home the win tonight. Congrats on a great run, Michael. You got anything before we let you go?
Well, first thing then is thank you to my mom and dad for watching as well, and then also Ian after he crashed was nice enough to help at least call like cars around and at least a little bit of like, hey, this area still got a little bit of puddles here and whatnot. So it did help a lot having a bird's eye in that scenario. And then also thank you to Hopper for the kind words as well. It's great racing with him. I was glad to see him back in the car.
I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy.
A whole lot of love. It says a lot about the league, though, man. You know, everybody helping out each other, even if we're in a battle for the points and we're out of it, we'll stick around and try to make it enjoyable for everybody to make sure that we maximize our fun factor involved. And I've had a great time calling the race tonight. Adam nailed it with the cameras and co-broadcasts. So we appreciate everybody that makes this stream possible as well. Joshua, all the admins that make this awesome league what it is today. Well, we are looking forward to another race next week. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm not exactly sure where we're going just yet, but I can tell you it's going to be fun next Tuesday night at 7:20, and we will see you then from the Nürburgring Strecke circuit. So, not sure if it's going to rain there or not, but I can tell you it's going to be awesome. You're not going to miss it. Next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. qualifying start or practice start. We look forward to seeing you then. I'm James J, reminding you to stay in your lane.